I got the sad news that unfortunately he took his life.
This isn't just about running, it's about loss.
And I just wish that he reached out. You know, if anyone ever is suffering with any sort of mental health problem, that they reach out and they speak to someone.
A friend gone too soon, and a promise that turned into obsession.
You made a decision to run 31 marathons in 31 days.
31 marathons, 31 days, no breaks, no excuses.
It was do or die. It was I had to do it.
But this wasn't motivation. This was something deeper.
There's too many haters out there that wanted to see me fail.
And when the world expected him to stop, he went even further.
Everyone just thinks it was 31, but I actually did 33.
This is Albert Johnson.
Hello humans, welcome to the M-Word podcast, brought to you by Martin, that's me.
And Matt.
That's him. Today we're joined by Albert. Albert, welcome.
How are we?
Good. You?
Yeah, brilliant, thank you.
Good man. So, interesting story that we want to dive into. I think for those that don't know, and I'm sure there's very few, in December you made a decision to run 31 marathons in 31 days. I believe it was in memory of a friend who's, I apologise, name slips my mind, who had autism, I think. So you ran for an autism charity, is that right?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
So what was his name, remind me?
So his name was Graham Brew.
Okay. What was your relationship with?
So we were originally, a good friend of mine, Max Skelly, put me onto Graham, and he started working for me, basically, and we became friends, and we sort of lost touch a little bit over COVID, and then just like most people started speaking to one another and rekindling old friendships with one another. Graham was one of those people. He just phoned me up. He had long greasy hair, he looked like he hadn't had a bath for about a year, and we just started talking as though we hadn't even finished speaking, we just had a good catch up, and then within a few months, or was it maybe a year or so, I got the sad news that unfortunately he took his life.
Oh, right.
So yeah, not
some mental health challenges, I assume he had.
Yeah, and so he excuse me, he struggled with his mental health so much, to the point obviously where he took his own life, and I just wish that he reached out, and I've said this before in other interviews, but yeah, I wish he reached out, and I wish that, you know, if anyone ever is suffering with any sort of mental health problem, that they reach out and they speak to someone. It doesn't have to be a family member, but that they reach out and speak to at least one person, because it's just it's too much. What you leave behind, it's just not worth it, because it's at the end of the day, it's the people that you leave behind that go through the pain really than you yourself, even as painful as it may have been for them. It's these things can be resolved always.
Yeah, agreed. And I think as obviously I'm only one species being males, but I think we tend to talk a bit less, don't we, and communicate a bit less. So
definitely, yeah,
it's important we don't do that basically, and we do open up and show some vulnerability. So that's very nice. So where did the idea come from let's set the scene about you running, because this is something I read and it shocked me, because obviously if you look at your times and the amount of, and again, I know I'm sure you're aware, another lad was doing 12 marathons during Christmas period as well.
Yes,
and his kind of, and obviously I work closely with Christian on that deterioration in just fatigue and tiredness that you didn't seem to have particularly, which double surprised me when I then look at that you've only been running for 5 years. So please, for the love of God, tell us before that you were some other really high performing athlete of some kind, and that you weren't just on the booze and fags and suddenly 5 years ago. So what do you have let's call it a pedigree background, or did you used to play a lot of football, a general base fitness that you could rely on?
Yes, so people that went to school with me will have known that I was into playing rugby, but I used to play a little bit of football as well. I'd play all sorts of sport, table tennis. I was into motocross, and I was into. I even did a little bit of tap dancing when I was younger. I did judo. I did singing, dancing, and acting. So I've always been. I've only just recently been diagnosed with ADHD. So, and they say people with ADHD, they can thrive in sports. I mean, Christian Varley, ADHD. I'm pretty sure Thomas Mazzoni, a cyclist, he's got ADHD. Who else is it? I'm sure she won't mind me saying. I think Rachel Franklin, another one, ADHD. Her husband now, Alan Caller, ADHD. So all these athletes, they've got ADHD. I think that could be one of the main ingredients maybe as well. But I think as a young fella, my dad, he'd have me out in gardens working for him. From a very early age, from the age of about 6-7 years old, I was working with him every sort of Easter holiday, school holiday. And I had that instilled in me from a very early age. And I also know that, in order to feel pleasure, we have to feel pain. So my formula is pain equals pleasure. So the more pain you feel, the more pleasure you feel. At the end of the day, it's pretty simple. So, and I think that's you can apply that to anything in life.
Right. So you'll adapt that into your training, I guess, then as well. So that 5 years, if you go back then 5 years, we just use it a flat 5 years before running. You start doing a bit more running one day, but before that, from what I'm hearing, is you just did general sports though. It's not like I was a really good swimmer, I performed for the Allen Games or... No.
I mean, I was fairly good at table tennis. I mean, I know table tennis isn't really a...
super aerobic.
It's not cardiovascular based. It's more sort of technique and precision and reflexes. But not so much.
Right.
I just started running out the back of my house one day during COVID. And there's a really steep hill, it's called the Baltic, not to be confused with the one in Foxdale. And I was just adamant that I'd get to the top of this hill one day without stopping. And it took me I think it only took me about a month to do it. But eventually I just learned how to control the pace as you run up the hill. And then now and again I'd go and run on a beach, which again is pretty hard work because there's all the big stones and you're constantly having to fight for your footwork, and you've got higher winds as well. So, I'm not sure. I'm a determined character, so I just went for it. And then before you know it, I'm having Christian Varley take me under his wing and teach me things about pacing and.
So did you go some classes is the wrong word, but running sessions? Some
of some run strong sessions. Yeah. It was Harry Wetherill and Eamon Farrell that put me on to Christian, and I just wanted to get more in the know of how to run more effectively and how to just become a better runner. Yeah.
So what was the goal at that point then? Because were you looking at racing? What's that goal that set you? Is it competition based or is it more internally there? Because straight away there you said I've seen a hill and I just want to see how fast I can get how fast I can get up it, and then you take it to other means. Is that you thinking I want to just see what I can do, or are you quite competitive in let's see how good I am against the rest?
I think both really. I just wanted to get to know how to run properly for a start, and then I also wanted to meet other runners and build other relationships with other runners as well, and become more sort of part of the running eco family of the Isle of Man, if that makes sense. And because when you have Christian saying in your ear that you could be really good, I didn't really take it with a pinch of salt. I thought, I'm going to listen to this guy, and I sort of went from just running casually to running in a group to then I think I did my first 50 miler within about 2.5 years or something like that, because I did 1 month I did a 30 and then I only waited I think 2 days and then I did a 40 with hills, with over 4,000 feet of climbing in both of those runs, and they were both trail as well. Horrible trails, may I add. Not nice ones, not kind ones by any means. And then it took me about another, I think, 2 months or 3 months, and then I went and did pretty much the same route as the 40, but then I just added another 10 miler on just to make it a 50. So, yeah, I'm a man who doesn't like to be beaten.
Do you do other like weights, strength work, or you're not? I mean, I guess if you're out working from the age of 6, well, you're probably built pretty robustly, I would imagine anyway. But do you do much other, or outside of running training, do you do any other type of training?
So, do you know what? I do very, very little strength and conditioning. I've got a sauna at my house, which I swear by helps a lot with recovery. And I've actually just bought a one of those ice bucket things that you go in. But yeah, before I started running, so we'll go back 10 years. I started my gardening company about 10 years ago, but before that I was working in an office, and I was going to the gym sometimes 10 times a week. So I do 5 cardio sessions in the morning, and I do 5 weight sessions in the evening. And I went from about 10 stone when I was must have been about 17 years old, and I went all the way up to 12 stone through eating about 6,000 calories worth of food a day, drinking loads of water, training hard, going to bed at 10 p.m, getting up at 6 a.m, because that's when the body recovers most efficiently. From 10 p.m. till 2 a.m, it recovers physically, and then from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m, it recovers psychologically. So, and obviously you don't build muscle in the gym, you build it when you sleep, and you tear it in the gym. So yeah, and you pretty hit the nail on the head with what you just said. My work, because it's very labour intensive, I'm throwing logs, I'm picking up hedge cutters, I'm dealing with heavy bags of waste. I'm constantly using my muscles. I'm just over, I think I'm about 10 and a quarter stone now. So I've pretty much stripped most of that muscle that I built in nearly 10 years in the gym within about 2 years of running, because I was running, some weeks I was running over 100 miles a week with like 10,000, 12,000 feet of climbing in it. So you're talking like 12 hours of running every single week, and I probably wasn't eating enough. But when you run that much, eating sort of becomes boring, because you're just constantly having to replace the deficit all the time.
What do you enjoy about running?
It's just the pleasure at the end of it all. I don't. It's
do you enjoy when you're running?
Not so much. No, no, not really. It's the after effects, which is what I enjoy the most. That's what really drives me on.
So do you run most days?
Pardon?
Would you run most days?
I try to. Yeah, I've learned that you're supposed to have at least one day off a week for you sort of to improve better. You need to give yourself more time to recover, because your heart's a muscle at the end of the day. So it's obviously quite an enhanced heart, quite an enhanced muscle, should I say, the heart. But
do you stick to that, or do you find yourself getting an itch and then decide to do the 7 days?
Yeah, do you know what? Sometimes I just say to myself, no, I'm not, because if it's a really, really bad day, if it's really windy, really rainy, and I'm a bit tired, I just think to myself, do you know what? We'll see this as a rest day. We'll just leave it. But obviously, during those marathons I did in December, I didn't have that option. It was do or die. It was I had to do it. And obviously if you don't mind, I'll just come back to those marathons quickly. The first thing I was setting out to do was obviously to make my friend Graham proud, just in case, there is a heaven and he's looking down. And secondly, I wanted to beat Varley's record. But what was really really driving me on is there's too many haters out there that wanted to see me fail. So I didn't want to please them, shall we say. I wanted to keep going, and just to make certain people know that, like, I am what I say I am, and I am I am what I am about, sort of thing.
Well, look, we'll talk a bit definitely more about those marathons. Can I just ask you a question around, do you think, like we started off with talking a little bit about mental health, and look, I do quite a lot of exercise, and I'd definitely say it helps my mental position. I think if I took 3 or 4 days, or I didn't train for 3 or 4 days, I'd certainly... The anxiety will be higher for sure. 100%. So I suppose, is that part of your reason?
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Because it sounds like, I guess it was the same with the gym. So see twice a day.
We all need something. I mean, males produce it's something like 40% more testosterone than females do. So it's important for both females and males to go out and or to go in a gym or whatever for us to be active. But I think it's probably even more so important for males, just because we have more testosterone. I don't want to sound at all sexist there, but I just feel as though because we produce more testosterone, we have to go out and we have to burn that excess energy off more so. But it's important. We're all, at the end of the day, we've all got the same. We've all got legs, we've all got arms, we've all got brains. It's important for us to get out there and do something with it, because we are just advanced animals at the end of the day. And
I'm not sure how advanced we are at times, but
I just think that with the sort of modern constructs of society, if you like, it's all distraction. What we need to be really focusing on is us and our health and keeping our mental health in check, because I think that if we were all happy in ourselves with our mental health, it would we'd deflect that sort of energy onto others, and I think things would run a lot smoother in society, shall we say, if everyone was whizzing off the runner's high or the cycler's high or swimmer's high or whatever.
Agreed. Agreed. So you mentioned about maybe Christian's going to do 35 now, I don't know, but you mentioned about breaking his record, but obviously that was December. Where, if we look at a timeline, where did you go, I've got an idea to one, raise some money, to do this? When did that formulate in your head last year? Was it like November? Was it late on? Was it earlier in the year, thinking, I'm going to do this at the end of the year?
I just, obviously, as a sort of competitive person, I always think about what I can better myself at, whether that's a race or whether that's a challenge like that one. But to answer your question, I'd say probably around, it was about September, October time. I mean, my friend Graham, he died about 5-6 years ago now, so that seed had been planted for a long time. I had it in my head to do 100k for him. I had it in my head to do 100-mile for him, and then I thought, well, wait a minute, I'm not doing much work. I always have sort of December, January time off work. That's just how I manage myself, and I always run big. So I just figured I may as well do it for my friend Graham, beat Varley's record, beat David Goggins' biggest ever training month, which is 600 miles in 1 month. Surpass that by like 300 miles or something, and then obviously raise money for charity as well. So because like the year before, I think I'd done something like, I can't remember the times right now, but if you do say 12 hours a week by 4, that's 48 hours, is it?
Yeah.
So 48 hours running for that 1 month, and then I figured to myself, well, if I because that had hills in, and that had trail in, that had beach in, that had all these different sorts of terrains and elevations, I figured, well, why don't I just do loads of flat runs, but then I just do the same distance every day. And it worked out, thankfully.
I noticed on the so obviously your times were in a fairly close bracket from say 247, 250 to 315 again. Pretty rapid.
Got a good memory.
pretty rapid pace for anyone, let alone day after day after day. So it's super impressive. The question I had was, one, I want to ask about your feet, nothing too personal. Like, how did your feet stand up to that day in, day out?
I honestly don't know, but I didn't get one blister.
Right.
It's insane.
I think that's again just from, like, let's call it work, being out your gardening and having...
Yeah, having hardy feet, but I genuinely believe, I mean, I think I maybe, no offence to Christian, but I think maybe I maybe learnt from his mistakes. I think that I thought maybe, or I planned it a bit more smarter in the fact that he did his in the summertime when you're going to be sweating more, you're going to have to drink more fluids, because at the end of the day, the blisters on, especially the ones at the back of your feet, and well, to be honest, anywhere on your feet, your toes, your ankles, the only reason you start blistering is because it's the water from your sweat that gathers in the like the toe box of your shoe, for example, and then that's rubbing, and then that's what obviously, and then friction it causes. It results in getting a blister. And I remember when I was running down Glenwillan last year, and I was doing, as I've just said, lots of miles, lots of elevation, and I was turning around quite a lot. I think that because of those things, that's what made me get blisters, and then that's therefore what enabled me not to get blisters. And he changed the route around as well. I just stuck to the same route, just went backwards and forwards, and
that was the thing I was going to mention about the runs, because when you look at it, I don't know how much one loop was. You probably know off the top of your head.
Yeah, it was 1 mile each way.
Oh, it was,
so
okay.
I didn't even need to take my phone out to look at it. I just knew.
It counted.
I literally just went, right, there's one, and there's two. I mean, in fairness, I didn't even count for a good first few. I'd sometimes even go off the church bells chiming, so I'd know I was running for like 1 hour, and because I was doing them, as you just said, in around 3 hours, if I heard the bell chime, say it was 10 in the morning, it'd go to 10 a.m. and then it'd do another for 11. I'd be like, right, well, I started running at 9, right, well, that's 2 hours. And it refrained me from looking at my phone then. And I try and play a bit of a game with myself. I try and not look at my phone for as long as possible, because I know that as soon as and you know yourselves from being athletes yourselves, as soon as you start to either look at your watch, or you start to look at your phone, you sort of like break the seal then, and then you're just constantly looking at it, and you're thinking, oh, how many miles have I done, or what's my pace at, or where are we at here time wise. And I just think that sometimes you need to eradicate certain things out of your mind in order to
I'd never even considered it that way, but I'll remember.
You'll remember now.
I work for next 50 next weekend.
Friday. This weekend. You say this weekend.
And that's the other thing that amazes me about the challenge, is that, because I think if I remember helping Chris on his, and one of the things of running in other places was to break up the monotony, because that's we train indoors on bikes, and you've got stimulation in front of you on your Zwift or whatever to break that up. So again, not to be able to just get in that zone and just run what rallies is a very boring route, with the most respect to the route you ran, but not to be able to,
mentally draining,
but also mentally super impressive to be able to do that and not
appreciate it. Thank you.
Not crack. That's,
I think. So, if people knew who my dad was, I think they'd understand. And I'm probably making out that my dad's a proper nasty man. He's not at all. But if people knew who my dad was, and as I say, some people will, I think they'll understand why I am the way I am, especially with my sports, because my dad himself, he had a pretty hard upbringing, and he sort of brought me up very similarly to how he was brought up. He's a Yorkshireman, my dad. Some people have even said he's a Roman soldier in how he sort of operates and goes about his day-to-day stuff. But and I just think that because I had that distilled into me from a very early age, it's just stayed with me. And
what is it that's getting distilled into you?
Just the mentality of just like, never give up, never ever give up at all costs, because you may regret it, basically, in a nutshell. and that you're a man, so be a man. You know, don't cut corners, do things properly, be passionate, take pride in what you do. I just think, again, the way that society's set up now, it's very much sort of synced in and sort of wired to not be so alpha, if you like. So
Yeah.
Well, for me, when I'm thinking, how did you prepare for this? We talk about the mental side and that, but what kind of went through your head? Because to me, it sounds very impressive in that you've just gone, I'm just going to run 31,
Thank you,
and you've just got it done. And from listening to you so far, you sound quite detail orientated in either research or looking into things. So, did you do a lot of that beforehand? You said looking at Christian on what you can do, what realistically am I going to get to 25 and have issues, or was it very much just I'm going to keep doing and keeping on top of your fuel, I guess, was a big thing as well. And how did you basically prepare that, or did you create something to be like, this is how my next 31 days are going to look like, or is it very much a bit of winging it and just see what happens?
So I got to marathon 22, I think it was, so it was 22, 23, 24 and 25. So for those 4, I had shin splints and
just ran a 3-hour marathon. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, as I say, you know, there was just way too much at stake, and I thought, unless I'm debilitated to the extent where I can't even really walk, I'm getting this job done. I am getting it done. So I ate loads. I probably lost about 3 pounds during this whole process, maybe even more. I mean, I've noticed the weight gone from my arms, but I honestly, I really don't care. Like, if I had to choose between being a runner or being a gym head, I'd choose being a runner, just because you may look great being in the gym and getting, you know, you got the pumped up muscles and so on and so forth. But as a runner, the high, the mental high from it, anything endurance wise, anything cardiovascular wise, it's a different type of gravy, I'm afraid. But to answer your question on nutrition, I was eating probably still not enough. Obviously that's why I lost weight, but I was probably eating about 5,000 calories a day, but I wasn't really working at all. I was just getting up, having my breakfast, getting the run done, getting it logged on Strava, and jumping in the sauna.
Do you eat while running?
Yes, so I was having about 2 to 3 gels whilst I was running, and then I was having the carb tailwind drink in the water as well. But I think that's I'm not sure what else on that one, mate.
Can I ask about trainers? So one of you mentioned about learning from Christian's event. I remember one of Christian's challenges was he switched trainers quite a bit, and I think that I remember on day 7 or 8 he had a pretty bad. I can still see the picture I took of him sat on the ground in the car park in St John's with the hill behind him, and him trying to sort out his blisters. So did you use the same set of trainers? Did you switch? What was your...
I had a pair of alphas for the first 10, and then I got tripped up by a dog on marathon 10, absolutely flying, ruined that pair of shoes, and so then I bought another pair, and those lasted me for the other 23, because I actually did 33. Not many people, well, some people know that, but because the media only covered the 31, because that's what I set out to do originally, everyone just thinks it was 31. But I'm making sure those other 2 get counted. 33. It's quite a.
So did you run end of November, start of January? Where were the other 2?
So yeah, I finished on the 30th 3rd of January, is that right? Yeah, 3rd of January.
Yeah, so you ran first and second as well.
Yeah, I literally went out and I said to people, I am going till failure. Like there's no point just doing 31 and going, that's it, I'm going to hang up my coat and say that's it. If I can do another 2, because you never know, some like little whipper-snapper, or however you say it, may come and say, you know, I'm doing 35 or I'm doing 36 or whatever. So it just makes it harder for that next person to beat.
I think you said that's what you were going to do, doesn't it? So was 32 then, was it, I'm broken, I need to stop then?
33.
33, sorry.
I'll let you off, mate.
32, 33.
I just got 103. I had a really, really sore knee. It just sort of, it gave way on me. I just couldn't go on, and so I had to kick the bucket, and that was the end of that chapter.
You seen Iron Cowboy?
No.
Yeah, you need to watch that. Yeah, so
okay.
right up your street. So he did an Ironman every day, and that movie is every day for 53 days. Is that the one he did it in every state in America, back to back? But similar of kind of what you're talking
every
about.
Every day?
Yeah.
What, so they actually had an Ironman on every day?
No, he just swam whatever, 2.4, cycled 112.
And then there's the...
And then obviously commuted to the next state, because he did 50, did every state in America.
Well, so what's the marathon distance for that?
It's a marathon.
Yeah.
But the world record now is about 110 Ironmans back to back. It's mental.
Is it Sean? Someone there? He's over UK. I've seen.
Right.
He did that recently. Yeah. Okay. Well, I remember watching that, because he did 100, and then similar. He's done. I think whether the original attempt was 100, but similar. If I could do one more, I may as well keep going. I think he got to like 100, similar 103 or something. But that's back to back Ironmans. That's
crazy. No, that makes me look like absolutely nothing.
Well, not at all. No, not
crazy.
Not at all. So, what's next for you? I mean, do you compete in local races?
So I've
never really seen your name in local races.
No, I won the Western 10. Let me think. Not last year, but the year before. I did the Manchester half last year. But yeah, I won the Western 10. And then I won a half marathon in Croxteth a couple of years ago, out of about 200 people. That was a half marathon around a trail in Croxteth.
You're not doing the backyard, are you?
So I am. Yeah, I'm doing that. Yeah. So and I'm missing the Loch Ness Marathon because of it, which is a shame. But yeah, is it the first time it's ever?
Yeah. So we had the organisers on a couple of days ago. Oren, I'm sure you know Oren, do you?
Okay. Yeah. Not well. I know. I just know.
Yeah, we chatted to him because we're both in it as well.
Right. Cool.
It's going to be a complete head wrecking event, isn't it?
Yeah, can't wait.
Okay, and obviously you've got you've got a 50 miler. So is your plan? Do you know? Have you got like longer term? Would you like to do longer and longer ultra stuff, or is it just see what comes up next and go for it?
I like picking and choosing. I like smaller races. I like bigger races, but you probably never catch me signing up for like a 5k race just because. It's just not long enough. You know, if I'm going to go and do a race, it needs to be worthwhile showing up to the start line. And obviously, because I'm a believer in pain equals pleasure, I need to feel a certain amount of pain in order to feel a certain amount of pleasure. So because your body just gets used to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll see what the year brings. I've got this. Ultra, this Manchester's Liverpool run on Friday.
Yeah.
With
so
you.
By the time, not with me. I'm in it, but I'm doing. Yeah. Well, you'll be running slowly. I'll give you about an extra 3 hours of pain running at my pace. I mean, I'm sure the pod will be out by after that event, so it'll be interesting when we look back and listen to this.
It will, yeah.
How you get on, because you mentioned about kind of partly wrecking it, but also you're a very good runner, so you should be more up the pointy end of that event anyway.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Not that we've seen the forecast yet. So if what interests me is that in obviously how quickly, as I perceive it, anyway, in 5 years to now be certainly well, not certainly, a very accomplished runner. I guess if you had just advice for people that are struggling to get off the couch or get motivated to get to, even if it's not necessarily run and get to the gym or whatever, what would you say to them?
So just start off really small. You can't look at someone like Christian Varley or Mo Farah or David Goggins and think I can do that. You need to be rational and realistic first, and then just go from there. And then once you've built up a little bit of a foundation, shall we call it, then you can start to build on that. Because you'd never build a house without putting down your foundations first, would you? And it's the same thing with running. You don't go and run a marathon until you can run, like a 10 miler or a 50 mile first. But just let me say on that note, Michael Hodgson, he lives in Ireland now, top lad, got a lot of respect for him. He'd only done something like 7 runs, and now if this isn't a motivational little segue, then I don't know what is. But he said to me that he was coming back over to the Isle of Man a couple of years ago, and I said, all right, spot on, that's great, so we'll do a marathon when you come over. And he looked at me like I had 10 heads. And I said, what are you laughing at? I said, you're a strong guy, you go to the gym, you've done a couple of runs, let's do a marathon, keep it nice and steady, nice and light, I'll go with you the whole way, this isn't about me, this is about you. And he looked at me, and I say looked at me, he was over a phone call, and he goes, right, yeah, let's do it. Anyway, the guy, he come over, he was at mine for 8 o'clock in the morning, and he did it. And if anyone wants proof, I can send it to him. He did the marathon on his first attempt. He did it in, I think, was it about just under 5 hours, something like that. And the guy, I mean, he's not heavy by any means. He's a real tall bloke. He's something like, I think he's about 14, 15 stone maybe. So for him to knock something like that out first time at that sort of pace and time is just absolutely remarkable. So I think as long as you've got somebody there with you that's helping you, that's there to support you, and you don't go too fast, those two are the main ingredients, I believe. I think you can achieve anything. I really do.
I'd say a piece of that's the mindset of it, which obviously you have in abundance. Probably sounds like partly thanks to your dad as well. So
definitely.
So Albert, thank you for coming in. Congratulations, first of all, on the I was sort of first-hand witnessing Christian go through that, and obviously Christian's an accomplished athlete, and know the challenges he had in just 19 days. So to throw an extra, I won't do the maths, but 14 on top of that, 33. 14 on top of that's very impressive. And the time, and I know Christian was, although he was slowing in many ways, but maybe that was partly
the blisters.
And the sheer, but yeah, very impressive. Good luck with the running.
Legend, you too.
Wait for, I will assume, on Friday you'll be waiting for an ice cream when I finish. About 4 hours later, you'll probably run back to Manchester by the time I get to Liverpool.
Don't put
when you run the other way,
not a race pace. It depends if it's a headwind or a tailwind out. It'll be an Uber back to Manchester.
So good luck with that. Appreciate your time. And
I appreciate you inviting me on. Thank you.
Pleasure. And thanks obviously for talking about mental health and your friend as well, because it's very admirable what you did there.
Thank you. Right. Legends.
Word out from Martin.
And word out from Matt.
Poor flimsy humans. Don't you wish you were flawless like me? A towering inferno of physical perfection?
I hate to pop your blimp-like ego, but you're not perfect.